Hi, everyone, and welcome to Afternoon Equality. I am so excited for today's episode. It is a special roundtable with five Asian creatives and entrepreneurs we're going to talk about Lunar New Year and just our traditions and the way we grew up and the things that we miss, and also just, what we hope to pass on. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm so excited, so let's get right into it. We're getting all here. Oh, I'm so excited. Again, thank you all for coming and doing this with me. We were chit-chatting a little bit, and so I'm really glad this all came together and that you all are here, and I can't wait to get into this conversation with you guys about Lunar New Year.
Yay.
Yay.
Got a red for New Year's.
I know, right? So to start, should we just go around the room basically, and we can just introduce ourselves, where we are, where we're from, just, a little bit. So let's start with Elena.
Oh,
okay. I'm just going in order. You're on my screen.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Elena. I come from Vietnam. I moved here like 2 years ago to live with my husband, and I'm currently in school. Also, thanks for pandemic, I have more times to like explore my hobbies, and I come to like make video and drawing, and I just opened my new shop on Etsy just for sticker, spending time drawing, and I also have a small YouTube channel. I currently is not doing well, but hopefully I can, you know, accomplish something in the future. And it's very nice to know you guys. And I'm still very new here. Basically, I don't know anything since it's so hard to make new friends during this kind of time. So I'm still learning. If you guys say something and everyone laughing and I'm not laughing, don't take it personally because I just don't know. But yeah, yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you so much. Christina, throwing it over to you.
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Christina. I'm from New York. I live in Queens. I grew up in Flushing, so around a lot of Asian, specifically like Chinese, Korean. I've been here my whole life. My family's been here since like the 30s or something, so I'm third gen. And Chrissy actually found me because I posted on Subtle Asian Traits talking about my experience as a third gen who doesn't speak Chinese but still very much grew up with the culture. And so I also started a Etsy shop, I think I started it during quarantine, but I had a shop before that. So maybe around 2 years now that I've been running this. And it's designs that I created inspired by growing up Asian, so like nostalgic snacks or just like funny sayings. And I want to create something that people could relate to, even if they aren't like super connected with their culture, or like maybe they're mixed or adopted, or they don't speak the language, but they still have a connection somehow.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Jacob, let's go to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob Molike. I grew up in the northern suburbs of Chicago, moved to Michigan when I was in high school, went to the University of Michigan, and then I now live in the west suburbs of Chicago, where I am a civil engineer by day and an entrepreneur by evening and weekend. And I started Global Welcome Clothing a year ago as a response to anti-Asian racism. Have various family members and friends who have reported subtle to overt varying degrees of racist incidents. And so wanted to start up a clothing line to send a strong message about loving our neighbors and welcoming immigrants. And this right here is one of my sweaters. No matter where you come from, our country welcomes you. And then Spanish, Polish, Chinese, and Tagalog. That's the Chicago series, but I also have some with the East Asian series and various other language combos. Check the Global Welcome Clothing website when you get a chance to find some. And I also very, very recently, just within the last couple of weeks, I started up a Lunar New Year greeting card line, which has been doing very well. And so we have Lunar New Year cards for Chinese New Year, Korean New Year, and Vietnamese New Year. And so far, We have sold over 80 cards, and we donate some of our proceeds, specifically 10% of card sales and then 10% of by profits from the clothing, specifically to a local refugee organization called World Relief Chicagoland, which resettles immigrants and refugees in the area. And I'm very passionate about helping immigrants and refugees as a grandson of immigrants. So my maternal grandparents were immigrants from China. They immigrated here in the early 1950s to escape communist China when Mao Zedong was in charge. And so at the time, only 105 Chinese immigrants were allowed to immigrate here a year, and my grandparents were among the lucky few. And so I'm very big on supporting people who were in similar situations to where my grandparents were when they were my age.
Wow, that's so
Amazing.
nice.
Thank you so much. All right, I have two Veronicas. So Veronica Wong, let's start with you.
Hi, that's a lot to follow. um, so I think I might be the only Canadian here, but I grew up in the suburbs of Toronto, and I live in Toronto now, downtown. I am a product designer by day, so I work at a company called Shopify. And part of working at Shopify means that I wanted to open up a store of some kind and have a better understanding of what our merchants go through, what it means to be a small business owner, so that I could do my day job better. But that led me to creating Boba Love, which is a brand, mostly apparel and accessories, that celebrate bubble tea. So all of the designs are mine, and it's a lot more lighthearted than Jacob's clothing line, but it was sort of like, I grew up drinking a lot of bubble tea, and it's not really that well known outside of the Asian community, and I wanted to sort of elevate the status of this like snack drink that a lot of us grew up on. Sort of like, coffee drinkers have this whole culture and this whole cult around it. Bubble tea should have the same. So I started Boba Love for that reason, I guess. And it's been doing really well so far. I think this is our third year. And it's just a side gig, but I'm still having fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I got one of your sweatshirts. I'm so excited for it to come in.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. And then finally, Veronica, is it Dong or how do you pronounce it?
Dang, like dang it.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Veronica Dang. I live in New York, but I was born in Pennsylvania, the only American-born kid in my family. So I got into a lot of trouble. But we moved from Pennsylvania to Virginia, which has a large Vietnamese community. My family came here because of the war. And I am an actress, comedian, filmmaker, and I founded Mono Majority, an all Asian American sketch comedy team that's been featured in New York Times, and we've won some festivals and stuff. And we have a Lunar New Year show coming up.
Yeah. I'm so excited to watch that. I actually got my ticket and I made my donation, so I'm very excited.
Yay, thank you.
For that. Yeah. No, that's great. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much. Let's get right into it. So I sent you guys the questions that I was thinking of asking. I'm gonna use it kind of like a script, but also kind of like a guide. Again, I want this to be as organic as possible, but go ahead and just, I'm gonna read off the first one and then we'll see what happens from there. So growing up, me personally, so I'm from Reno, Nevada, which doesn't have, there is an Asian community, but it's very small, and it's not like we don't have like a Chinatown or anything. And so my experience with Lunar New Year was really whatever the casinos put on. And the casinos would put on things because we had Chinese tourists that would come through. And so that's how I saw lion dances. That's how I saw, they had a kung fu show that would come through sometimes. They'll have the string bands and things like that. But that's been my experience with Lunar New Year. And then whatever, my mom and my dad would tell me, because they were the only ones of their family that actually immigrated over here. So I'm curious to see just how differently you guys grew up, being in New York where there is a Chinatown, being in Chicago or a suburb of Chicago or whatever, or being in Canada even, and how that, how those things are different and maybe the same. So let's start with the East Coasters. So let's do Christina.
Sure. So when I was younger, my family would go to the temples nearby, and also there's like a really big temple upstate. So we would go there for New Year's. They have like food there, all vegetarian food. We'd watch the parades in Chinatown. And then recently, now that I'm older, I go with my cousin every year to watch the parades. She has a kid, so take the kid around with his little headphones. Um, and it's just like a really nice, colorful, festive like thing that everybody gets together to do. It's like everybody's happy, excited to bring in the new year. And then we go temple hopping. So like instead of bar hopping, you go to all the different temples and you just eat all the food there. So that's like our thing every year. Of course, we're not doing it this year, but yeah, that's something that I'm definitely gonna miss.
Oh, that's awesome. Veronica Deng, how about you?
Well, when I was in Pennsylvania, like our family was like one of the few Asian families. So I don't know when I was really little was there. I don't even remember celebrating anything at all. But when we moved to Virginia, part of the reason why they moved there is because there's a large Vietnamese community. And when I was younger, it was like a month-long celebration. There were like parties, house parties, and like community parties, and there was like the market that you go to before to buy all the stuff for the New Year's. Sometimes we go see the parade in Chinatown, even though we're Vietnamese, but there will be like informal, like kind of, line dancers and stuff like that. So it's like, so it was really fun when I was little. And then as it got older, now it's just like we have a party at my family's house, which I'm really sad to be missing this weekend because of quarantine. And we still go to temple on the first day, but it wasn't like the big like month-long thing like it used to be. Slightly different. Like we have this it's called bintang. It's like a rice cake with pork and mung beans in it, and it's wrapped in banana leaf. So it's like that's like the thing you get for New Year's, and like that's something I haven't seen in other like countries. And then also there's a whole like folk tale behind it, how like it came about because the king was looking to pass on his kingdom, so he put out a call to the nation and like someone come up with the best recipe, and what won was this bintang cake, which represented all like Earth, the moon, and all that stuff. So
Oh,
it's like
wow.
a whole like special thing with it. Yeah.
I have a picture of the banteng right here.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like this little thing.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, this one is bante.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So
the
just
one.
like just like Veronica said, the bunting is like represent for earth, land, and this one is represent for sky or heaven.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Oh,
And it's
yeah,
just
that's
like
awesome.
a feast of foods. It's like there's so many different foods that you eat, like
Yeah.
whole
Well,
chicken. Yeah.
oh.
And then
Oh.
with the Vietnamese temple, you can go and like get your fortune told as in addition to getting your money and oranges from the monk. And
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's piggyback off of that and let's go to Elena. Like, what are, things since you did grow up in Vietnam, so what did you guys do for Lunar New Year?
I probably will share my experience when I celebrate Lunar New Year in Vietnam,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I didn't do much here.
Yeah.
So back in Vietnam, I love Lunar New Year when I was a kid. But when you grow up, you have to like help with everything, like clean the house. So first of all, when the Lunar New Year come, I like the phrase when it's before the Lunar New Year day. Like before like 7 days before
Okay.
the Lunar New Year's day, like before the official day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because literally everyone will get like 2 or 1 weeks off, student or employee, everyone. So we have time to spend with our family, and we usually will clean the house literally from the corner to outside of the road of the house. Like we have to clean everywhere, to invite the god money, the god money to come into the house on the Lunar New Year day.
Okay.
So we have to make sure to clean everything well, to have extra rice, extra water, food, to wishing for the next year will be always have enough food to eat. That's like a culture thing, and my mom always the one that makes sure we have enough food, and everyone will go shopping for new clothes, new shoes. So basically, we have to buy everything new, make everything like how to say like new. I don't know. And yeah, and because my ethnicity is Chinese, so it's kind of mixed culture when we celebrate Lunar New Year. So we didn't eat the banjeng and bante. We eat egg, like stewed pork with egg. Yeah. So whenever Lunar New Year come, my mom will make a whole big pot just for the whole week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we usually will go to temple too, like because the old people said as much temple as you go, you'll get the more lucky out of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're supposed to donate a lot to the temple too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then go there to ask for luck something. Like usually you will bring back lucky money or like a piece of branch of flower just to bring home. Yeah. And so basically we just celebrate at home, play card, get lucky money. But if you are already married, you can't get any lucky money. You have to be the one that give out the lucky money to the kids. So since I already married, I can't have it anymore. And yeah, but I really like those times because that is the time that everyone actually have time to stay at home and gathering around and talking and sharing what we have done for like last year and what is our plan for the future. And that is like a very precious time for the family. And yeah, it's just like that. We don't have much like fancy things that if you watch the whole family from Netflix, that the way that they celebrate Lunar New Year.
Oh, Bling Empire?
Yeah. It's nothing like that for local Vietnamese like us. Like it's too fancy for us.
I don't think it's like that for many people at all.
Oh, I see. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah, they do not represent us.
Yeah, they did not. But yeah, basically that's how I celebrate Lunar New Year in Vietnam.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's throw it back to the East Coast for a second because Toronto is on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
Okay, Veronica.
So the area in Toronto that I grew up in, it has a pretty large Chinese community. So there's always like a varying degrees of how traditional or how non-traditional you get. Most of my friends and people my generation are like, they were born here, but their parents weren't. My parents they both came to Canada like in their teens. So they're like pretty accustomed to like North American culture. And they're not like overly traditional themselves. So for us growing up, Chinese New Year was like mostly just gathering with family, having dinner either at a restaurant or at home at somebody's house, getting red pocket. And for us, it was sort of like we knew the traditions because my mom would tell us, but almost like in a joking way, like, oh, you don't have to clean today. And we'd be like, okay, great. But there wasn't any like, you cannot wash your hair or you cannot do this. Like it was very free form like that. And for us, it's really just about getting together and eating food. My mom would make all these snacks or my aunt would make snacks. And when we got together, it wasn't really traditional food. It would be more like potluck. Whoever wants to make some food, make whatever. So it would often end up being, if you imagine any potluck, it's just like a mix of a whole bunch of different foods. There might be like like more Western foods as well as Asian foods sort of mixed in. It was just like whatever we felt like eating, we would just make it. Um, and this year, I think, is really sad because like even though we're not very traditional, the getting together and eating dinner part was really important, and we don't have that this year. So my mom had this week off, and she was like making all of these different snacks, like New Year snacks. So you've got like the flour cookies or like the almond cookies, things like that. And she's been like delivering them to all of my cousins, and she's like dropping them off.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so at least we have like a little bit of that. Normally these would just be like laid out on the table and we would munch on them until dinner. So this year at least we'll have the snack part to like tie us all together.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, no, this year's definitely going to be, I usually have a wonton party. It's kind of what I've been doing. And like, and it's really, and my mom loves this because even though like I only really made wontons with my mom maybe like once or twice when like other family from Taiwan would come visit. But then when I moved out on my own, it was a struggle for a little bit to find like a tradition that I like wanted to do because when I moved to LA, even though there is like a large Asian population here, like there wasn't like it's almost like there's too much, so you never really know where to go. And most of my friends and classmates are white, so but so I brought up like a wonton, or someone came over one year and we had like a wonton party, and it was like, wait, I should just start doing this because it was like, and I called my mom and I told her, and her favorite thing is like me telling her how bad a lot of people fold their wontons because most people don't know how to do it. And she like it's like the most entertaining thing for her to hear, like how good or how bad they were.
That's such a like Asian mom energy, like just but also praising you at the same time.
I know. She just loves that I'm sharing it with my friends, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for that. And then finally, Jacob, tell us about your experience because you're half Dutch, right?
Yep, half Chinese and half Dutch.
Right.
Yep. So I'm a grandson of immigrants. And so that's definitely a different experience than being a child of immigrants because my parents, both of them being born and raised in this country, grew up very culturally American. And my mom grew up in an environment that did not have many Asian Americans. And so I asked my mom fairly recently what her family did for Chinese New Year. She said usually they didn't observe it, but there were a couple years when they observed it, and her aunts would give her and her siblings hongbao, or the red envelopes with the money, which was nice. However, my family, we have a tradition of having New Year's Eve hot pot on December 31st, on this regular solar New Year's Eve. And so growing up, usually the Lunar New Year was just another day on the calendar, and I didn't start keeping track until I was in high school. And however, there were a couple times my family, when I was growing up in the north suburbs, would go up to the Milwaukee area to visit with one of my mom's aunts for the Chinese New Year and take her out to a Chinese restaurant up there. And so I have good memories of that. And then more recently, when I went to college, went to the University of Michigan, which has a much, much, much larger Chinese population than I grew up around. And so that included a lot of immigrants, international students, and American born Chinese Americans. And so what I had a tendency to do is to make Chinese New Year more of a Friendsgiving style holiday. Like there was one year, I think my freshman year, I attended a dinner hosted by some of the Asian American student organizations on the campus. And then the other years, I had a tendency to celebrate with the Chinese international students who I was friends with. And so had really, really good memories. I would say that my favorite Chinese New Year would be when I was a junior. I had a whole bunch of international student friends who hosted a really big Chinese New Year party. They're part of a international ministry of a church in Ann Arbor, which is right by my university. And so had really, really good memories there and brought a couple friends there, and they really enjoyed it as well. And so since coming here to Chicagoland after college, I've made a point to either host or ask friends to host Chinese New Year celebrations. And so the last 2 years, that's what I did. both times with Bible studies. And then this year, because of COVID, I am planning on hosting a Zoom New Year party tomorrow with my church, and told people at my church that people outside of my church are more than welcome to come. And it's at 6:30 Central Time. So if any of you are interested, you're more than welcome to come too. And I also, the last couple years, also attended the Chinese New Year parade in Chicago's Chinatown, which was a lot of fun. And then a year and a half ago, I became a board member for the University of Michigan Club of Chicago and joined their cultural committee. And as part of the cultural committee, I ended up organizing a Lunar New Year dim sum breakfast at a restaurant in Chinatown on the morning of the parade. And so we had about 40 people, which was a lot of fun. And then we watched the parade, and then some of us went for bubble tea afterwards, which was a lot of fun. So not too late to create your own traditions or start new ones or adapt to COVID.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's amazing. That all sounds really great. I mean, let's keep going with that then, because obviously COVID, puts a damper on everything. But especially like, around this time when it really is like, I feel like Lunar New Year above all else is really about gathering and about like, I mean, it really is. It's like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and it's just like it. And I think like Elena said, it's really it's the main time that a lot of people, it's really the only time that they really get to gather as like a big family and they get to actually like celebrate and be together. So obviously with the pandemic and things changing in that way, what are the things that we each are going to miss the most this year? Let's start. I mean, let's just go back around the room. Let's start with Christina again. I think she touched on it, but
Yeah, I did mention just like going out to see the parades, visiting all the temples, and then I think the main thing that everybody feels is just like getting together with family, especially since I have such a big, ginormous family. Every year we have dinner, and then after dinner at a restaurant, we go to my grandparents' house, and we all crowd into this little tiny apartment, and all the kids line up and have to recite like New Year's greetings. And we're all like very Americanized. So we do all these customs, but like most of us don't really speak Chinese. So we're just memorizing a bunch of these things phonetically. We present it to the elders, and then we all line up again and we collect their red envelopes. And then I think the most fun activity of the night is we also kind of have like a dumpling making, not competition, but like, you want to show up your cousins. You want to show like, look at mine, it's the best. Like, grandma, look at mine, whose is better. So I'm really gonna miss that, just like interaction with my cousins, with my family.
oh, well, thank you for that. Veronica, dang, how about you?
It's literally like the thing I think about like all around. It's my favorite holiday. Like getting ready for it, buying new stuff, but like I definitely miss the time where all my family's together, and all the food at our parties, because like the parties are like we invite all our friends and family, so we're all together, and that's the only time we're all together. I mean, I think the only other time would be like a wedding, right? And the food is amazing. My family's like really good cooks, and then also like people bring amazing food, and like we stopped buying dessert because people would bring so much dessert. And then yeah, and then also we'd like so for the beginning of the new year we gamble, like
Oh
so
yeah.
like games. And so we have like this Vietnamese game where it's like basically objects like deer, crab, whatever. It's like a picture, and you put your bet on the picture.
Okay.
And then, like you shake the die, and then people get excited, and then it's hilarious because people like screaming like gourd or screaming like deer to like wish for that. So it's like a lot of fun.
Oh,
And then yeah, because it's if you're lucky in money, then prosperity. But if you're not good lucky in money, then you're lucky in love.
oh, I like that. So there's not really like a loser.
Well, if you neither, then you're just like neutral. Or if you're a house and you lose, then very bad for
Oh no. Okay. We're wishing luck on everybody.
but it's like super fun. And yeah, it's just like, oh, I miss all the food. Oh, and then of course money. I mean, usually like you only get it when you're little, but like with my family, you still get it. And I'm the youngest, so then I get from my siblings too.
Yes.
I totally like, oh, cash in there.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom still insists that she still insists that I put like a $20 bill under my pillow. Does anybody else did anybody else have to like sleep on their money?
Hmm.
No? Okay, I don't know where this comes from, but like she always tells me to put it under my pillow and sleep on it. And like and that's how you like you manifest it, because then it's like it's right there, like under your pillow. But anyway, okay. Veronica Wong, how about you?
I think it's mostly the same sentiments, like seeing family and getting together and eating. Like I haven't seen my mom since before Christmas, so it's been a while. Like we video chat, but it's like not really the same, right? And I really miss playing mahjong. Like you need 4 people for that, and I live with my boyfriend, so there's only 2 of us, and it's not quite the same. So I really miss that part too.
Oh. Yeah, I actually my friend plays she plays virtual mahjong, which I know is not quite the same, but that's how she's been getting around that.
Yeah, it's really not the
Just
same.
my mom.
Sorry?
I play with just my mom, just the 2 of us, because nobody else will play with us. So you can still do it.
You can't. It's a very different style of
Not
game.
as fun, but you can still do it.
Yeah, not quite. Also, my boyfriend probably wouldn't have the patience to like just play with me.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for that. Jacob, how about you?
What I'll miss most is getting together with friends in person and attending the Chinatown parade,
Mm-hmm.
both of which have been really, really fun traditions. But I'm trying to make the most of what I have, like the technology, like Zoom. And
Right.
so I said hosting the event with my church tomorrow. And then next week, I'm planning on hosting an event with the civil engineering community here in Chicagoland. And I'm also planning on hosting with next weekend, basically a 3-part celebration with my university's Asian American affinity group, including a dumpling and shumai making class, where a Chinese restaurant owner in Chinatown who went to my university, he and a couple of his friends will teach us how to make dumplings and shumai. And then the next part, I'm likely going to teach people how to make hot pot. And then the last part will be a time of dinner and networking and trivia.
Oh wow, a lot. You're gonna have a busy like 2 weeks almost, it sounds like.
Yep, really, really wants to improve the holiday experience for people who don't have ways to celebrate, including both the Zoom gatherings and the cards. And so
Yeah,
my cards have been selling really well so far.
amazing. Well, thank you for that. Elena, so I know like since you're not in your home country, so what do you miss in general? Like not even just because of COVID, but like what part of it do you miss in general for being here in the United States?
I would say I miss everything. Like
Fair.
seriously, I really love Lunar New Year, just like Veronica Dang said, because it is a big festival in Vietnam.
Mhm.
And where should I start? I miss the preparation space. You know, like I get to go with my mom to buy clothes, to buy things, to um, displays for the house for Lunar New Year, to buy plants, um, and prepare lucky money and give out to kids. Um, like also missing the gambling things. We really like got we in Vietnam in Lunar New Year you get to play card gambling with money legally for 3 days. Yeah, legally. Even though like even police seeing you playing with money, they're not gonna arrest you. But after the 3rd day, and if they see it, they can't arrest you.
Oh,
So
what?
yeah.
Wait,
Mhm.
are you not allowed to gamble in general?
No, with money, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
but you can
this
go
is
to
me growing up in
casino.
casino culture. I can't imagine that people not gambling just like every day.
Well, you can go to casino to gambling is legal in there, but outside of it, if you're gambling with money, like big amount of money, then no.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So
Oh,
everyone like really take advantage of it and go big.
Oh yeah, go big or go home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I miss everything, especially Lunar New Year, spending time with my siblings and getting lucky money from my grandma, like people who are older than me. But in here, I feel like I'm the oldest here, so I only give out, not take in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the
Oh.
thing I miss the most.
Oh, well, thank you for that. So then going off of that, just as we're finally hopefully gonna get through this pandemic at some point, when we do start being able to do these things together again and start being able to celebrate, or even just like, just further down the road, what are traditions or customs that you guys have that you want to pass on? Like, what are things that you want that you hope when we're able to celebrate again that you can share with your friends or with your family, or like, if you get married and have kids, like what are the things that you want to keep alive in like the culture around Lunar New Year? Who wants to start this one?
I mean, mine's quick. It's just like eating as much as possible and being so stuffed for like a week. It's like the food is so good during that time, and it's just so much of it.
Yeah. Do you cook a lot normally, or is it only like?
I mean, only when we're doing family stuff.
Okay.
It's like a lot of work. I
Yeah.
actually don't like the preparation part of it because it's so stressful and exhausting to like get it all done in time.
Yeah.
And then also red envelopes, handing those out.
Right. All right. Do you want to do Veronica Wong? You want to go next?
Yeah, I think the one thing that like COVID has given me, which is nice, is like I can no longer rely on the different family members to make different types of foods, and so I've had to like start learning how to make them myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I would want to pass on. The red envelopes for sure. I think it would also just be nice to like teach my future kids some of the traditions, like the cleaning and the hair washing and the like buying new things and like kind of learn like why some of those things exist. I hope that they learn Chinese when they're young. I don't know, because like my Chinese is like maybe half good at best, so I don't know how that's going to translate. But if they can like learn the phrases without just like memorizing them phonetically,
like me,
because I have cousins that also do that. Some of like my younger cousins, they didn't learn Chinese, and so they're also just like kind of reciting just so they can get the money. But I think there's like a nice sentiment to like actually knowing them and knowing what they mean and like having it be more genuine than that. Not that I'm saying you're not genuine or anything.
no,
But
it's okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, Christina, what about you?
Just to respond to that, because I think it's hilarious. Yeah, my cousins, we didn't learn Chinese, but we do every single year have to like hold up the banners and like recite it. And some of my cousins, so like I did go to Chinese school, so I learned how to like read and write. So I do know some of them, but then some of my other cousins is like you'll see them reading off the back of the paper, and it's just the most funniest thing because we all know what's going on, but it's like we're in on the joke. So a couple of us mentioned that we go to temples. I don't know if you guys are like religious, but I wouldn't say I'm like religious. I wouldn't call myself Buddhist, but I grew up going to the Buddhist temple. I think for me and my family, except for my grandma, because she's actually Buddhist.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it was more just like a cultural thing more than a religious thing. So going to the temple every year, praying, donating, lighting candle, and then eating food there. I think that's something that I hold very precious. Like I have a lot of memories of doing that. So that's something that I think I would want to pass down to my kids, whether or not it's like a religious thing. Because to me, it's always just been a cultural thing that you do.
For sure. I totally get that. Amazing, thank you. How about you, Jacob? What is something you hope to that I mean, like you're kind of already doing it like by holding all these events and whatever, but what is something like what is one thing like that's really dear to you that you hope to keep being able to share with people?
Community is very, very important to me, and having people have basically I want family and friends to have a place to go to during important holidays, and then specific traditions I would like to pass on to my future family would include the dumplings like making dumplings at home as well as making hot pot. And then I would also want to do the hongbao as well. There was one year when, while I did not grow up getting hongbao for Chinese New Year, there was one year when some family friends came for Christmas and then gave my siblings, cousins and I some hongbao with $20 each. And to this day, one of the best Christmases that I've had. And so that's definitely a tradition that I would want to pass down. I've been going out of my way to do a lot of research on traditions, specifically so that I can incorporate them into my celebrations. And I obviously want to attend the New Year parades and support the Chinese restaurants, especially considering a lot of them have really struggled over the last year because of COVID and the related anti-Asian sentiment.
Definitely, definitely. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Elena, how about you? Like when you're finally able to do things outside of your apartment or your house or wherever you are right now, like what do you hope to start sharing with sharing with the people here, I guess?
I would say the preparation phase, I guess, because that is the most exciting part that I feel like I want to share it with especially my husband, because he's like haven't experienced anything about Lunar New Year. He even asked me like, why you even celebrate here?
Oh.
I'm like, come on, I grew up there and it's like a part of my culture. So yeah, but he understands it, but he's not really excited about it. So I want to pass whatever I've been through, like whatever I know and experience to my kids or to my people around me, share about my culture, so they can, understand the general what we do in Lunar New Year, and especially like what you should do. Just like Veronica once said, like you can't wash your hair in the New Year day. You have to do a certain things and can't say a certain things, something like that to my kids. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. All right. With all that said, thank you guys so much for joining me on this. I don't want to keep you all too long, especially like I know Christina has plans she needs to get back to, but thank you guys so much for joining me with this, and thank you for your candor and just sharing like all your thoughts and your traditions. Like this is a lot of fun, especially for my first go around. So thank you guys. And yeah, I hope to stay in touch with all of you, and I'm so excited to watch all your businesses grow and all the things that your projects that you're doing, and just to support each other. I think is really
please come to my comedy show for Lunar New Year. Everything's all like Lunar New Year and bovine themed.
And bovine
because you're the ox, so we got like full ox cow sketches.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Can we get the link for that?
Yeah, I'll email it to you later, but it's February 20th, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, I linked it on there too, so you should be able to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Happy New Year, and yeah, let's keep in touch.
Bye.
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 Thank you so much to Veronica Deng, Veronica Wong, Christina Young, Jacob Molwijk, and Elena Lai, who were so gracious in joining me for this talk. I will have all of their info put up in the show notes, and you can also look at my social and you'll see I've done little profiles on them all week. But this was an amazing conversation. I learned a lot. I hope you all enjoyed hearing all the different little stories that we had, and I can't wait to sit with you again next week. Happy Lunar New Year, and I mean, good luck, good fortune, and love to all of you. Thank you.